Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Shelly. I'm Clean Green Being. If it's your first time here, welcome. Today I'm going to be reviewing two Pacifica concealing products. The first is the Transcendent Concentrated Concealer, and the second is the Dream Lift Under Eye Brightener. So in the natural beauty market, I have tried a number of concealers and have had a difficult time finding something that doesn't leave my under eyes looking dry, disheveled, crepey, just gross, because I do have aging skin under my eyes. I'm 31 years old, no shame. So I do have a little bit different needs than I did when I was 25 when it came to finding a good concealer. When I was 25 years old, I didn't care what kind of concealer I used because my skin under my eyes was perfect. So nowadays, a little bit more thought goes into which concealer I'm going to throw on my eyes on a daily basis. So I wanted to try the concealer today because it does have a claim of being creaseless and fuller coverage. So I'm just going to go ahead and really just jump right into it and try the Transcendent Concentrated Concealer. On my face right now, I just have a little bit of a tinted moisturizer. It is the My Shells, however you want to pronounce it, Liquid Tint SPF 50, and I'll link that in the description box below. I love it, I wear it all the time. So I only have a tinted moisturizer on so we can see the concealer in effect, whether or not it's able to cover up those darker circles in my inner eyes, which is typically a problem area for probably everyone I've ever talked to when it came to buying concealers. So before I actually get into it, I will read the claims that are listed on the packaging. So this does, as I mentioned previously, it does claim to be creaseless and have complete coverage, which I'm guessing is more on the fuller coverage side, medium to fuller coverage, I'm guessing is what it means by that. That it has innovative concentrated liquid minerals that help to camouflage imperfections, dark circles, and blemishes, and it has an emollient formula for a natural smooth finish. It is 100% vegan, cruelty-free, and it is formulated without phthalates, parabens, and petroleum. So that's good. So taking it out of the packaging, I have this in the color Natural. I typically am on the fairer end for the majority of concealers and foundations, so when I just quickly color matched this in the store, this color seemed to be the closest to me. I did pick this up at my local Whole Foods. I know you can purchase Pacifica at Target online. It's pretty easy to get your hands on. This does come in 0.2 ounces or 5.7 grams. So I'm just going to open it up. I can tell by initial opening that it is a thinner formula. It comes with like a doe foot applicator like you would see on a lip gloss or a liquid lipstick. I'm just going to swatch it on my hand real quick. Very, very liquidy. So pretty good match. I like the fact that it's turning out to be like a more liquidy concealer. The other natural concealers that I've tried, say the RMS Uncover Up, which I'm not shitting on by any means because I do wear that all the time, it is just a little bit on the thicker end. So it feels heavier to me throughout the day. So I'm really interested to see if this lighter formula is something that I can wear, doesn't crease, and doesn't feel like I just have a ton of crap under my eyes, which I hate. When I can feel makeup on my face, I hate it. I want to claw it off, wipe it off immediately. So that's kind of a big thing for me. So I'm just going to start out by applying the concealer to my left eye, and then we can compare it to my right eye to see if there is any noticeable difference. I'm just going to put my hair back here. Okay. And I'm just going to use my Real Technique sponge, which is damp, to blend it out. So I'm not going to set the concealer today. I have learned over the recent years that when I set my concealer, I tend to have more of that dry, crepey effect than if I were just to let the concealer be. And if there is any creasing throughout the day, just kind of like patting it out. I really don't like the look that I get whenever I set my under eyes. Maybe it's just my aging skin, or I just haven't found the right under eye setting powder, which I'm open to suggestions. If you have any, you can link it down below. Do you have that same issue? I just have found that I get a better result, like I said, without setting it. So I'm not going to do that today because that's not what I do on a daily basis. So I'm just going to keep it as consistent with my normal makeup routine as possible. So that's one layer of the concealer. Looks pretty good. There's still a little bit of darkness in this inner area, which tells me this is more of like a light sheer to light coverage instead of the complete coverage, which was on the packaging claim. I'll zoom in real quick to show you what it looks like up close. So zoomed in, we can get a little bit of a better idea of how much of a difference it has made between my left and my right eye. Like I said, I do think there is a noticeable difference than having nothing on my right eye. Again, do I think it is full coverage? No. Do I see any initial creasing? No, so that's a good sign. I do want to see how it layers though, so I'm going to do probably 2 layers on my left eye and just a single layer on my right eye. That way when I come back in a few hours, we can compare it to see if it does build well, and if you build it, does it crease, or if it's meant to just be one single layer so that it doesn't crease. Okay, so I'll go ahead and put the concealer on my right eye just to even it out. And then, like I said, I'm going to apply a second layer on my left eye to see if it builds and if that doesn't crease either. So let's blend it out. Again, as this concealer has kind of been sitting on my left eye, I don't feel it, which is good. There's really not a smell to this either. It's kind of more pretty neutral. I am very sensitive to synthetic fragrances. I try to avoid them at all costs. So those of you that are sensitive to fragrances as well, this does not have one really at all. Pretty neutral. Okay, so I have the concealer now on both eyes. This is what it looks like with one single layer. I am gonna, like I said, apply 2 layers just on my left eye to see how it builds, and then I'm gonna leave my right eye with just 1 layer. Okay, so now I have 2 layers on my left eye. I did look at it in a mirror up close and I don't see any initial creasing, which is good. I don't see any creasing on my right eye. We only have a single layer, but you never know. I think it looks pretty good so far. So now I'm going to try the eye brightener on top of the concealer to see if it does brighten and if it doesn't cause the under eye concealer to crease. I am only going to use it on my right eye, I think, so that way we can see how the left eye plays by itself, and then we can see on my right eye if the brightener actually works, because usually whenever I use an eye brightener, I use a concealer and a brightener. I don't just use one or the other. The eye brightener is a lighter shade, which I'll show you in a second when I swatch it. So typically, like I said, when I use a brightener, I'll put my concealer on first and then the brightener on top. Okay, so now I'm going to try, like I said, the Dream Lit Under Eye Brightener. On the packaging, it does claim to have reflective brightening minerals and natural beneficials that help hide the effects of fatigue, minimize lines and dark circles. Nice. And it's supposed to give you a brighter future for your skin. Like the concealer, it is 100% vegan and cruelty-free and formulated without parabens, phthalates, and petroleum. I have the shade Bare. I am going to swatch it next to the concealer so you can see the difference in shades. It is definitely lighter than my concealer. The concealer, I would say, is closer to my foundation shade. So this should really, if it functions in the way it says it does, it should really brighten up my under eyes. Formula-wise, it is definitely thicker than the concealer. It does have a doe foot applicator like the concealer does. I'm just going to jump right into it. Like I said, I'm just going to put it on top of my right eye so we can compare it with the left. I also don't see any like reflective particles in it, like glitter or anything like that. Sometimes in eye brighteners or illuminators you can get a little bit on that glittery side. I don't see any in this, so we will see how this looks. Okay, so 1 layer of the brightener on my right eye, just the concealer, 2 layers of the concealer on my left eye. I'll zoom in so we can do a comparison between the two. Okay, so now I'm zoomed in and we can get a look at both eyes with all of the products on in all of their glory. I do think the brightener did an okay job. Do I think it was anything out of the park spectacular? No, but I do think it did give somewhat of a brightening effect. Will I use it on a daily basis? On initial application and kind of just wearing it for this short amount of time? Probably, but I'll be able to give a better opinion whenever I check in a few hours to again see how it sits on the face. Does it crease? Does it kind of like break up on the skin? I think it looks pretty decent so far, but again, we'll see in a couple hours whenever I check back in. Okay, so I'm back. I have been wearing the concealer and the brightener for that matter. I've been wearing them both for around 6 hours now. I went out, ran a couple errands. It's not overly hot outside or humid, so I don't think that really had an impact on the results of these products. So overall impression, I am getting some creasing on my left eye. Again, that's the eye that I put 2 layers of the concealer on. There is some creasing that I had to kind of pat out throughout the day, and I still even have a little bit. So maybe 1 layer next time will reduce the amount of creasing. I actually don't have a whole ton of creasing in my right eye, which has the single layer of concealer and the brightener. I do like these products together, so I think for my daily makeup routine, as I continue to use these products, I really don't like to make a final decision about a product until I've used it over a period of time, but initially today, for kind of like a first impressions type scenario, I do actually like the brightener and the concealer together, single layered only. I don't think the concealer is meant to be layered, so if you're looking for more of a full coverage concealer, don't think that this is gonna be your guy for that job. But if you're looking for like a sheer to light coverage just for running around and doing errands or even at the office, I think this is actually a good bet. I still, like I said, need to give it a little bit more testing, but overall today, for first impressions, I definitely think that these are good products so far. Have you tried these products? Let me know if you hate them, if you love them. Did you apply them differently? Did you layer them and get the same creasing issues? Did it crease for you at all? Kind of let me know your thoughts below. Thank you so much for watching today. Any feedback I am open to. If you have any products that you would like me to review or compare, leave them again in the description box below. Before you leave, hit subscribe and the bell for future notifications for my uploads. And again, I really appreciate you guys being here today, and I hope to see you on my next video. Thanks.